cyclone which affected Bhubaneswar, he says that it has uprooted 48,000 trees, 75,000 trees in only urban areas. I will restore them. However, we do not have only the products which we are related to. We have various interactions where we talk about sustainability. While Earth Matters is one which we started in the year 2010, today it has traveled to n number of places in India. Well, we have also taken this across borders where we have put it on Facebook. So there is 25,000 people like you who have been interacting and sharing their thoughts on sustainability. They contribute in terms of content, project uploads. For us, it's not only about I working together. We believe in how you and I can work together. Hence, we have ArcEdge, which is a community designed for members of architects and interior designers specifically, where you get to build a healthy home, contribute to the environment, and more importantly, build a sustainable tomorrow. I just like to end with a quote here. We need to paint a better world, articulate a better future that does not involve willful consumption. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sinha, for that insightful beginning. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed important to address the sustainable architecture because the practice is almost nascent in India. And now it is a pleasure and honor for me to introduce you to our keynote speaker for this evening, architect Subodh Sapadnekar, partner Environs, Pune. Ladies and gentlemen, architect Subodh Sapadnekar is a partner of Environs, a group of 6 professionals practicing as architects, planners, landscapes and interior designers. The firm is having office in Pune and Dubai. Over the last 2.5 decades, the firm has been handling a variety of architectural and interior designing projects which include educational institutes, commercial complexes, hospitals, factory, buildings, banks, hotels, gardens and corporate offices. They've also received many awards in architectural and interior design competitions at state level as well as national level. So well, ladies and gentlemen, could we have a big round of applause as now, of course, the stage belongs to architect Subodh Sapadnekar. Could we have a big round of applause, please? Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us here.
Good evening. Actually, it's my real pleasure to share my views regarding this most growing concern subject, that is sustainability, architecture that cares. When anybody opens this subject and we can call it as a discuss this particular subject, it reminds me one incident before 3 years. It was a very touching incident for me. I was sitting with my client at Hyderabad, a senior IS officer and director of an educational institute, and we were discussing layout planning of his institute and office planning. He was he was asking me to reduce the gangways and passages in office areas to accommodate more staff, and I was trying to convince him what is the importance of gangways and passages in public places. Suddenly he got call, an urgent call, and while attending that call he literally collapsed in the chair. I could not visualize what is the thing, and after 5 minutes he was normal, and he informed me there is a very bad news that I have lost my son in fire accident in Bangalore. A young 27 years young boy very intelligent. He was engineer and consultant for management consultant for software industries. He was on duty and he was working in the office, and suddenly in office building caught fire, and there were almost 17 casualties, and out of them 5 people jumped down from the 4th floor because they could not sustain, and they suffocated due to smoke, fire smoke. I think if you see this particular incident itself will explain what is sustainable and what is not, and what is important for us. Actually, if you see what is role of sustainable architecture in our day-to-day life, if you see our daily hectic routine, this particular modern industrial world, we early morning we wake up, we go to the office, we try to catch the train, taxi or bus, and we enter our office with cluttered space. And if you sit on the chair, there is a constant interruptions which drive you mad. You cannot communicate effectively. You cannot manage the mess at your workplace. And we suffer from SBS, we call it as a sick building syndrome, which results allergies, back pain, neck pain, eye problems, and due to lack of poor air quality and natural light and ventilation. We are under the impact of sound pollution, and this is our final output. We are under stress. The statistics states that 78% employees, workers described job as a stressful. 50% they are under high stress. Millions of employees are absent on average working day due to stress related problems. And what is the root cause? I think root cause is unhealthy conditions and poor quality design of working area. So we are the people who can contribute, who can upgrade and create healthy living through sustainable architecture. This particular stress is not an occupational hazard, it is due to bad design. So through sustainable architecture, by way of superior air quality, control over thermal comfort, high level energy, and resource conservation and efficiency, we can certainly create sustainable building. Though there is no need to create a new, for sustainability, there is no need to create a new structure. We can create and achieve sustainability in existing space also. So I would like to show one small office which is just 5 minutes away from this particular area near NIBM, which has got actually gold certification. I probably this is the first office existing in existing building which has got gold certification in Pune. And this particular model is they are going to repeat in 27 countries. This is a model office for Kaizen Institute. Actually, I am keynote speaker. I am not giving presentation, but this I think this is apt to show you. So that's why I am showing to you. This particular Kaizen Institute, they are industrial management consultants, and they are giving consults to all international industries at international level. This is only 1500 square feet office, and here we got the advantage because that particular office is on 4th floor, so there is a top terrace. So we got that advantage. We created punctures in the slab, and we have tried to let air, fresh air, as well as mechanical ventilation, and also the light. Absolutely up to evening, you don't require the light. The electricity bill is absolutely nil in this particular office, and we have created different zones. It's an open office system. and multiple activities they are arranging in this particular area. Okay, exhibit area, that Ubaya, there are Japanese people, there are some different principles over that. Then recreation space within the same office, and it is totally movable furniture. You can convert training hall into conference hall and other things. So different ideas can work for same purpose of space. Within 3 to 4 minutes you can complete change, like a drama set you can change the entire activity. All partitions are movable, everything is movable in this particular office. So I think space is the greatest luxury of time. So we have introduced new concept of movable workstations. Well, like site engineers, people go outside and they come only for half an hour and something. So it's if you can see the movable workstation below the storage unit. This is the interior of the, absolutely, we have achieved almost 62 points in lead points in this particular, which was really not possible in existing space. So simplicity in design, uncluttered space, totally transformable furniture, and natural light and 100% natural light ventilation is there. You can see this section. There are the punctures on the top, and through that puncture we have ventilation, air, and also the light. You can see the clarity of light and other things. So this is one example. Other example, we have tried to achieve the 100% sustainable space in industrial space. This is a project is Enpro Industries. It is near Merkel. Here we have tried to use modern techniques, construction techniques and material. So instead of asbestos sheet, we have used a Proflex system. Basically the client, their product, they are having major problem of bird droppings, and which bird dropping which affects health of workers, and also it spoils their manufacturing equipments. So that was their major problem. They are exporting to many countries. So this Proflex system, it is a bend, we can call it a gallium sheet, and 30 meters span is there. There is an absolutely trussless roof, and it is a clean surface. So aesthetics is also achieved. Also we have achieved a light and ventilation through the skylight at roof level. This is a 2 lakh square foot space, but you will not require light up to 6 o'clock in the evening. You can see the sections, and you can see the construction techniques for the Proflex system. So my point is, we have to seek to strike the balance between modern comforts and our connection to nature. This sustainable and modern architecture, when done well, provides a kind of balance between natural and artificial environment by blurring the lines between indoor and outdoor in sensual material palettes, while offering the expansion of smaller and more efficient spaces. So to truly achieve sustainable building, we take a life cycle view to look at a building impact throughout its whole life, from material manufacturing, construction, to eventual demolition and destruction. Using system thinking approach, we can visualize and solve complex environmental problems. From this, we are able to establish buildings' total footprint in terms of energy or carbon emissions. So our approach to built environment means that we should not simply follow the standard guidelines and codes, but deeper into building usage and function to make sure that every aspect is managed as sustainably as possible, regardless of the whether it scores points for certification scheme. My main point is that because the certification is not important. For us, certification is the tip of iceberg, and we should use the image of iceberg to represent our culture and vision. So for truly sustainable buildings, informed and thoughtful design must be our important goal. So in design of a green building, performance of the design is more important than aesthetics of the space, but it is a fact that if it is not beautiful, it is not sustainable. So for architects, as architects, we should try to save space because it is the greatest luxury of our time. And if you save space, you can save energy, you can save manpower, you can save resources, and everything can be saved. There is one image which is showing great Winston Churchill. He has made one bed, air-conditioned bed in his house, and his concept was take what you want and leave behind for others. I think we should take that message. And finally, while creating sustainable architecture, there is a message from Mahatma Gandhi which absolutely we should follow, that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. I think we should follow that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that very thoughtful presentation and leaving us on such great note and messages. Ladies and gentlemen, could we really have a big round of applause? This is surely very heartfelt, really spoken from the very depth of heart. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, sustainability is the key to future. But well, it will not be wrong to say that yes, there is still some kind of an ambiguity on what exactly constitutes sustainable architect. And this evening we come together to have a very meaningful forum right here as we have some very great panelists joining us. And it is an honor and pleasure for me to introduce you to our eminent panelists here amongst us. To begin with, we have here with us Sunil Patil, Principal, Sunil Patil and Associates. Sunil Patil started his firm Sunil Patil and Associates in 1994. Sunil Patil and Associates is now one of the leading architectural consultancies. Accounting to SPA's credit, SPA has designed more than 300 versatile projects across India, which includes residential and commercial complexes, industrial buildings, institutional blocks, residential and corporate interiors, and public utility places, and of course, much more to the list. Sunil Patil and Associates expanded its base and started an office in Pune in May 2010 and has a very enthusiastic team of 42 architects and designers. So could we please have a big round of applause for Sunil Patil. Let's really hear it louder. So I request you to please join us up here, and thank you so much for taking time out and joining us here. Next, I'd like to introduce Architect Prashant Deshmukh, Principal, Prashant Deshmukh and Associates. Architect Prashant Deshmukh is the ranker from JJ College of Architecture, Mumbai University, and has been a practicing architect consultant since 1976. Since 1986, Architect Prashant Deshmukh started his architectural consulting firm, Prashant Deshmukh and Associates, with offices based in Mumbai and Pune, and has since then designed and executed many industrial, commercial and educational projects which have indeed won highest appreciation at the national level. He has been awarded Fellow by the Indian Institute of Architects on 13 September 1997. So would you please join me to welcome Architect Prashant Patil. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here. Sorry, Mr. Prashant Deshmukh, so sorry for that. And also please could you please put your hands together, joining us yet again on the panel. I would request Architect Subodh Sapatnekar. And friends, to moderate this very meaningful discussion that is just about to enlighten us towards sustainable building practices, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Vibhor Srivastav, Publishing Director, ITP Publishing India Private Limited.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a great feeling to see the house completely packed.